It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as WWE are looking to work with a popular independent promotion, and Andrade is set to take on Kenny Omega in a title match. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first, AEW wrestler John Silver recently spoke with Joey Carney on the Angle podcast and spoke of his career before joining All Elite Wrestling. In the past, Silver has appeared on WWE TV as an extra, and it seems his experience wasn't exactly the nicest. This is what Silver had to say. It's not a good feeling even though you're happy to do it. There are plenty of people who are nice, but there's also plenty that won't even look at you, like you better not even go near them. Like, don't contact them or they'll bury you. It's a little too much. In AEW, I like when people come to me and say who they are and introduce themselves. You're walking on eggshells constantly in WWE, and it's really not a fun thing to do besides eating their catering. Doing extra work was awful there. Silver appeared multiple times for WWE, most notably in a handicap match against Ryback on the No Way Out 2012 pay-per-view, and most recently on SmackDown, teaming with Alex Reynolds to take on Heavy Machinery. A few months ago, it was reported that there was heat between Impact Wrestling and Sammy Guevara, with Sammy reportedly refusing to work for Impact due to a creative difference. This was said to have caused tensions between AEW and Impact Wrestling in regards to their working relationship. Sammy was scheduled to appear at a set of tapings for the promotion, but plans were changed last minute due to Sammy dropping out. He recently spoke with Fightful and cleared up the situation, confirming that there is no hard feelings on his side, saying, "What was presented, I didn't see it working for me. I still wish nothing but the best for Impact and everybody there. I don't put information out online, and there are only certain people who knew certain information, so the information coming out is only from one side. I wish we could have kept it more about that instead of making it everybody's business, because it wasn't necessary for everyone to know this stuff. That's why I started trolling on the vlog. Certain things were coming out and I was like, this is not true at all. Don't believe everything you read online. It is what it is. We all could have handled things better. You live and learn, grow and go. I have a lot of friends over there, Trey Miguel and Ace Austin, plenty of dudes I'd love to wrestle and have wrestled before. We were all on similar shows not long ago. It'll happen in Impact, it'll happen in AEW, or happen in some rented show. It'll happen somewhere." And it's interesting that Sammy mentioned Ace Austin, as Ace is on the record as to wanting to wrestle Guevara at some point in the future, so maybe this could be a crossover match that we see somewhere down the line. Over the past few months, there has been an increase in larger promotions working together, such as the Forbidden Door between New Japan and AEW being opened, as well as AEW even working with Impact, with Kenny Omega going as far as to winning their Impact World title. WWE seem to be wanting to get in on the action, as they are now in talks with MLW to open up a working relationship between the two. The deal is said to be similar to the one WWE used to have with Evolve before the independent company closed last year, which actually led to WWE buying them out. The deal with Evolve saw NXT talent show up on their shows in order to give them more experience, so it looks like we could start seeing NXT stars showing up on MLW going forward. It should be said that MLW is one of the best indie companies around, if you can even call them that at this point. They do in fact have exclusive contracts which differs them from most of their competition, with talents such as Jacob Fatu, who is of the Samoan Dynasty family, and Alexander Hammerstone, as well as many more future stars in the wrestling business, all being signed to the company. Not only that, but they have a huge TV deal with beIN Sports, which makes them one of the most exciting companies around. MLW has helped develop many stars that we know today, MJF probably being their biggest export. You can see why WWE would like to work with MLW, not only to prevent a relationship with AEW, but for NXT talent to have somewhere to develop their in-ring skills in front of a substantial audience. matches. I was kind of hoping that MLW would join in on the whole Forbidden Door stuff with New Japan, AEW, Impact and AAA, but it now seems that it's more likely that we'll be able to watch their shows on the WWE network. Although they do already have a deal with AAA, but you know what I'm saying. This isn't the first time WWE have struck deals with smaller promotions, with them currently having deals with the likes of WXW, Progress and ICW in Europe, and of course Evolve, who as I mentioned before are now closed down, leaving an open slot for an American-based company to fill. WWE's deals with smaller promotions typically sees a clause which gives WWE priority to buy them should the child company ever close down, as seen with the purchase of Evolve once they could no longer continue to run. If a deal is signed, this will likely be a provision in the contract for MLW too, and I believe this is how WWE secured the rights to ECW as well, as they were working together in the 90s, albeit on the down low. And finally, in March 2021, former WWE Superstar Andrade requested his release from the company due to his unhappiness with his push in the promotion. Although his release was initially denied, it was granted a few days later. This caused a lot of speculation as to where he would end up. Talk of AEW, New Japan, and even a return to CMLL all looked possible. And before we continue, why not go and grab the free Young Bucks audiobook using our Audible affiliate link in the description below. And while you're down there, why not subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming videos. But let's get back to the news. His next steps have now been confirmed, with Andrade being booked for 3 big appearances in the coming months. First, he will be taking on the former Alberto Del Rio at a Nation Lucha Libre show in July. He will also be wrestling for Federation Wrestling, teaming with his longtime friend Rush. And most interestingly, Andrade will be taking on AEW, Impact and AAA Mega Champion Kenny Omega. The bout is booked for the upcoming TripleMania show, which is AAA's biggest event of the year, and the match is set to be the main event of the show. On last night's AAA show, Andrade appeared in a pre-taped video package stating that he has 2 goals. First, to wrestle Psycho Clown, and then win the Mega Championship before challenging Omega to a match at TripleMania 24. This match is going to be well worth checking out, but it won't be happening for a few months yet. TripleMania typically takes place in August, but here's hoping Kenny can hold on to the title until then. Andrade did name drop Omega specifically, which gives me hope that he will still be champion by that time. If this rivalry does happen down in Mexico, it'll be interesting to see whether it bleeds over into Dynamite, as we've seen with the Kenta-Jon Moxley feud in New Japan. It might be time to check one off the list from our recent WWE AEW jumps that will happen in the next 5 years video. If this does happen, I'm going to score it as a 2 so far, because technically Chris Jericho went back to WWE, albeit for an appearance on the WWE network, but we'll count it for now. So 2 down, 8 to go. But either way, Andrade is one of the most charismatic wrestlers in the business and is as good as anyone in the ring, so we could well see a match of the year candidate this summer. And while you're here, why not go and check out our video where we talk about AEW wrestlers and their appearances at WrestleMania.